The population in South Africa is 90% black, but black people in South Africa only own 4% of privately owned land in the entire country. But somehow Trump is convinced that these 59 white South African refugees deserve to be housed and fed on the taxpayer dollar in the United States because they were being discriminated against in their home country. It makes me so fucking sick to see that in the same week that a 16-year-old girl had her face slammed into the concrete by ICE because she was brought here as a minor into the United States by her parents, that our taxpayer dollars are simultaneously being spent on an expedited refugee process for white people in South Africa, where they only make up 10% of the population, but they own 96% of the fucking land. Are you kidding me? And their justification is that they believe that white people are being genocided in South Africa. So all of a sudden they have a problem with genocide. Meanwhile, the United States is literally funding a genocide in the West Bank. And for the record, that's not even happening in South Africa. It's been disproven and debunked multiple times. And it's just Elon Musk spreading right-wing bullshit, white supremacist bullshit, as usual. That's all this is. It's just white supremacist bullshit all over again. I'm so tired.
Well, aren't these just the healthiest looking refugees I've ever seen? The most nourished, the most well kept, the cleanest, most well dressed refugees I've ever seen. I've never seen such stunningly healthy, good looking refugees in my life. Thank God America offered them refuge from South Africa. Thank God. They look like they could not have even stood another day there. Thank God.
Has anyone gotten on like the farmers TikTok where they're talking about the South African farmers being brought over? So I turned 43 in a couple weeks, and in my lifetime, I remember the fall of apartheid. I remember when it ended, and I remember there was the Truth and Reconciliation, I think it was committee or conference. Anyway, they televised it, and that's where people came and they testified to atrocities, and there were people who were also held accountable and had to apologize, right? If I remember correctly, there was also like court hearings as well. But these farmers that are talking about the refugee white African farmers coming to the United States aren't looking at it from the bigger picture. Like, number one, I don't think they're aware of what apartheid is. I don't think they're aware of like how brutal it was and how a lot of these particular white people want that brutality back. They want a segregation of races. That's why they're asking to come here. So I first saw this with Skylar, the farmer in Missouri who was worried about losing his farm due to a cancellation of the contracts that were made under the Biden administration and how they're not being honored under the Trump administration. So he was really worried about that situation for himself, as one would be, right? So I have nothing but sympathy in that situation. But now that things seem to be a little more resolved, he's still not looking at the bigger picture because he's talking about the South African farmers coming here and how awesome it is. He doesn't look old enough to me. I don't know how old he is, but he doesn't look old enough to remember the fall of apartheid. And honestly, I don't think most Americans do. My dad had a lot of connections to the international news desk at CNN way back then, and his best friend was a producer. So I think that's why it was something that we saw a lot of in our house. But yeah, these farmers are excited that there's going to be white refugees coming in here to like take sanctuary and help out on farms. I don't think they know that these farmers, for the most part, aren't actually farmers, and that.
Hello guys, I hope you're doing fine wherever you are watching from. As always, it's your presenter Kish from Africa, and today of course I've combined clips of white Americans actually complaining about the Afrikaners who are coming from South Africa, and some of them feel that they are not justified to be called refugees, and some of them think that they are coming to scramble for the resources that they have not worked for. And also some of them think that the Afrikaners were responsible for the apartheid regime. Most of all, white Americans feel that the Afrikaners have always been farmers, and like the farmers in Nebraska are feeling that they are coming to take the land that they were supposed maybe to be granted or gifted by the administration. And if you're watching us for the first time, please don't forget to hit that subscription button, and most importantly, don't forget to leave your comment or opinion about the whole situation. And let's dive in, and then I'll come back with my full commentary.
To the 50 Afrikaners who fled to the US, calling themselves refugees, you are not refugees. You are just a case study of white flight dressed up as martyrdom. You're not escaping violence, you're escaping equality. South Africa didn't chase you away. You ran. Yes, South Africa is one of the most violent countries in the world. Yes, brutality exists. But let's be honest, violence affects all communities, not just white farmers. Black, colored, Indian, and yes, white people are all targets of a national crime crisis. What we have is a breakdown in safety, not a white genocide. This is not ethnic cleansing, it's criminal collapse, and running to the US won't fix it. You are part of a 7% minority, but somehow still manages to control over 70% of the wealth. That is not persecution, that's privilege on a guilt trip. And let's be real, if we tried to relocate just half of the Afrikaans population, it would take decades, billions in logistics, and you'd still end up culturally homeless in a country that don't want your apartheid baggage. You're not brave, you're not victims. You're scared of a world where you don't get to be in charge, and that makes the rest of the Afrikaans community cringe, because you make us look weak. South Africa is broken, and it's our problem to solve. So if you don't have the spine to do so, stay gone.
So I have a question. I work with the homeless population, and I know for a fact that we still have plenty of veterans who are homeless, and also U.S. citizens that are homeless. So I wonder how it makes you feel knowing that instead of getting services for the vets and for the U.S. citizens, that this administration has now welcomed white South Africans, and they're going to get all kinds of help from the government. And I want to know, for those who are cheering the horrific deportation or kidnapping, because really that's all it is kidnapping, because there's no court orders, and these people are just grabbing people off the street. They're not identifying themselves. It's horrific. So that's my question. What does everybody think about the fact that now our government is bringing refugees from South Africa? And he said something along the lines of they have a rich, long history of all that they've done, and now the way that they're being treated is horrific. So I want to know, the American farmers here that have lost their farms, are those going to these refugees? Are they going to give those farms to the refugees? The people who lost their family farms. So that's my question. What do we think?
Farmers for Trump. Farmers for Trump. Y'all might want to get in here. I know you're going to want to get in here for this one. And have a seat while you're at it, because when I finish telling you what I just learned, your knees going to buckle. Okay. One of the first things the Trump administration did when they got into office was they went against all those deals that the government, the Biden administration made with y'all, with the farmers, right? They reneged on contracts. They didn't bring in the last payment they were supposed to bring in. A lot of y'all are losing y'all farms because of that, right? Because they reneged. There's this company called Acre Trader. I've mentioned this company before. This company, one of the first investors was a guy named J.D. Vance. Yes, the vice president y'all voted into office. J.D. Vance was one of the first investors. Guess who were investing along with J.D. Vance? South Africans. You get where I'm going? South Africans were investors, many of them. So now fast forward to today. You guys are losing your land, right? Trump just brought and is still bringing over thousands of South Africans. You get where I'm going? He's bringing in thousands of South Africans. Where you think those South Africans gonna end up? Where you think they're going? Acre Trader has confiscated, or you can say purchased, whatever. I think they say it's about over 40,000 acres. The farmers that have already lost your land, I want y'all to do yourself a favor. Drive by. Give it a little minute, but drive by and see who the new owners of your farms are. Gotcha. They got y'all. They got y'all damn good. Do you see this was a plan? Do you see it was a plan? Now y'all see it. They played y'all the entire time. They've been playing y'all they've been playing y'all before November 4th. They knew what they were going to do when they got in there. All they needed y'all to do was fall for that old okie dokie again. You know that okie dokie that y'all never learned from. Where the wealthy white people use your hatred against black people and tell you that you are better than the most intelligent, most educated black man while they constantly picking y'all pockets. Well, now they done picked your land out from up under you. Y'all keep thinking that these rich white people are on y'all side. What you don't understand is the rich white people see y'all the same as they see us. You ain't got money. You're no use to them. You're pawns. They like to move y'all around the board. But on their level, never. In their circle, never. How many of y'all been out to Mar-a-Lago? Farmers. MAGA. How many times y'all been down to Mar-a-Lago? How many times has he actually invited you in his home, in his surroundings? I know how many times he done offered to a price tag for y'all to come see him. But how many times has he ever opened his doors to where he is? You guys would never be in that circle. J.D. Vance was in this company, a part of investing in this company before he even became vice president. Think about that. Now we got all these South Africans coming over here. And if they just so happens to wind up on your land that you lost because they reneged on those contracts, y'all got played. Y'all got faked completely out of your acres. They played y'all to the freaking hilt because you refuse to learn this age-old lesson. The rich white man ain't your friend. You are his tool that he uses. That's it. And y'all never learn. Because they know one thing they can pull on y'all. They know that one thing they can dig at it's gonna always be paid. It's gonna be pay dirt. Always. And that's that hatred for black people. They know all they got to do is hammer on that, and they can pick y'all pockets clean. Well, now they done pick y'all out of thousands and thousands and thousands of acres of land because you refuse to learn. Hatred never wins. You are so filled with hatred. You're so consumed by it. Nothing means more to you. That is costing you everything you have. And some of y'all, some generational farms are lost, gone, because y'all just have to have that hatred more than y'all need air. It's sad. But it's funny too, because they say a fool and his money will soon part. Well, it looks like that's so damn true. Y'all refuse to learn, and they keep getting y'all. All these South Africans coming over here, they gonna cut all you MAGA Trump voters here that's been on SNAP benefits, that's had Medicaid, that depends on your Social Security checks, the veteran benefits. All of that is being taken away from you and gift wrapped to these South Africans that's coming. Yeah, they getting the full benefits of everything. They gonna get housing assistance. They're gonna get Social Security. They're gonna get free phones. They're gonna get SNAP. Everything they cutting from you, they giving to them. They prefer them over y'all. Y'all were just useful tools. That was it. Donald Trump even told y'all at them rallies, I don't care about y'all, I just want your vote. But y'all looked at him as a comedian instead of a politician. What you should have been doing was using him as your source of entertainment. Y'all should have been going to his shows. But putting your livelihood in his hands, that was the biggest mistake y'all ever made. And the second biggest mistake is not learning from the first one. So, for those of y'all who've lost y'all land, all them Nebraska farmers and all those Iowa farmers and all y'all who went, bum rushed that damn poll and voted for Trump and J.D. Vance, they got y'all. They got y'all. Oh, they played y'all real pretty. When I say they used y'all weakness against you, and who better to know your weakness than your own? So think about it like that. While y'all busy hating us, while y'all busy detesting us, while y'all busy dreaming about unaliving us and watch us bleed and watch us hang, while y'all doing that, you really should be looking at them with that type of hatred, because we can't take from you what they taking from y'all. Even y'all hatred directed at the wrong group. You love your enemy. You are in love with the rich white man. And the rich white man is your enemy. You'll never be on their level. Never. Not in their eyesight. And as you can see, they know they can play y'all like a fiddle. J.D. Vance is paid. The South Africans have a way paved for them to come into acres and acres of land. They used to be held by Americans. So what are y'all gonna do when they start deporting y'all off? So you never thought it was gonna come to your doorstep, did you? Oh, it's on its way. It's on its way. You didn't vote just for our demise. You didn't know it, but you were voting for your own. And it's here. Go in and look at it. Go research it. Look into it. See when J.D. Vance, how much of a part of Acres Trader J.D. Vance is. And then look and see how many South African investors there are. And then I want you to come back and tell me with one big old smile on your face, is it great again yet? I don't know.
Yeah, welcome back. Actually, apart from the white Afrikaners coming and doing the scramble for the resources of the citizens of America or the white community, I think that the Afrikaners carry this in their hand. They actually carry the stains of apartheid. During their rule in South Africa, of course, the apartheid was, treating the white race as special, and then brutalizing the black Africans in South Africa. And I also think that Afrikaners are foreign, not white enough to belong. Yes, Yes, of course, they are white, but their accent, history, and culture make them outsiders. The other reason I think that the Trump actually calling them the refugees, and we all know, people who are refugees, the way they look, and we currently know the state of South Africa, and I don't think that there is violence there. Another thing, I think that the Afrikaners are reminders of what happened when white rule falls. Actually, the white Americans fear becoming a minority. And then another thing that I think maybe is that their struggle doesn't fit American storyline. In America, the conservative white narrative is, we built this country and now they want to take it. Then I think last but not least, Afrikaners try to escape whiteness. Now that is inconvenient. Actually, now that the Black Revolution and Africanism or Pan-Africanism is actually awakening, they are just trying to escape the consequences and running to America. Those are some of the thoughts. And actually, these are the consequences of voting based on race, because I think most of the whites voted for Donald Trump just because he's white. And now these are the consequences, because Trump is preferring the Afrikaners instead of maybe taking part in helping the American people, like the veterans, and actually subsidizing farmers in Nebraska, and making welfare of the people who voted for him. And as an African, I don't think that there is chaos in South Africa, and I really wonder what is cooking with the Trump government. Is he trying to taint the South African government as a chaos country? And we know the consequences of tainting an African government as chaotic. But I think that the whites are reaping what they sow. And let me know your opinions about the whole thing of whites complaining about the Afrikaners being accommodated by the Trump's government.